Welcome everyone here. Yeah. Let's begin. So please sit down, have a chill, get your beer, and
Not any subject.
or any soft drink, of course. Of course, as you said. And welcome everyone online. And let's begin our next Warsaw MuleSoft meetup that we are organizing. Today we will be exploring wonderful MuleSoft IDP, and we'll see how it changed over the past few months, as there was quite a lot of updates. So let's move on. The agenda, as I mentioned, we'll go through the introduction, so basic steps, basic information about the community updates. Then we'll move to the main topic, exploring MuleSoft IDP. Throughout this topic, the main course of today's event, we will go through some theoretical updates, news about the products, and then we'll move into the demo. And it will be live, so finger crossed that it will work, as this will be AI enabled, so everything can go wrong. We'll see. I hope not. And after that, we'll have a Q&A session where whenever you are able to ask your questions, so note them down. And after that, we'll go straight into the networking part, for which we are here. We are here in person. At this moment, we will when we'll move to the networking part, we will finish the online meetup and we'll post the recording soon on the YouTube channel. So let's move on. First of all, I wanted as well to highlight our sponsors of today's event, which is PwC and MuleSoft. And of course, thanks to their commitment, we are able to gather here in this lovely venue. I love this Pardonto tool. And we can share knowledge, meet each other, and so on. For the couple of last years, like 5 years, we are having the call, 6 years.
Even more, I guess.
So it's quite long journey. Okay, so let's move to quick introduction section. Oh yeah, I know what I did. I did not update those QR codes, so they do not work. I will change this in the presentation afterwards. But my name is Patryk Bandurski. I'm an organizer of this today's event. I am a Warsaw MuleSoft meetup leader, and I've been working with MuleSoft products decade, and I think I know quite a lot from this technology, this platform basically, and even though it's evolving rapidly. I also one of the Hall of Fame MuleSoft ambassadors, well known on the worldwide. So that's you can see all the badges I've got. I love them. I love badges. And I think right now, let's Marcin introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marcin Nowinski, and probably most of you already know it. But still, we have many guys on our online channel. So let me introduce myself. I'm an integration architect at PwC with almost 20 years of professional experience, most of it in the integration area. Similar to Patryk, almost a decade in MuleSoft now. And yeah, I have all of them as well. And I don't have the shiny QR codes, but still, if you want to connect, there's a LinkedIn profile there. So yeah, that's me.
At least everyone can see your link. Mine's not.
Yeah, mine is working.
Yeah. Okay, so news from the community. I wanted to highlight that Salesforce having a worldwide survey for all of the communities. MuleSoft, Tableau, Slack, and Salesforce itself. And throughout the survey, they collected some feedback, and they see the need to make some changes or adjust it to become even better stuff. So they've selected quite a lot of people. I mean, around 30 people that will be joining Salesforce Community Advisory Board, which will be responsible for providing ideas where this community should be in the future. And I wanted to ask you, how many representatives from MuleSoft you can see? Can you know those faces? I see 3. Perfect. That's fine. So let's check. So we've got all 3 MuleSoft ambassadors. So there will be Brian, Jennifer, and myself. I will be as well joining this cohort. So we've got quite a good group of people, engaged people from the MuleSoft community. So we will make sure that our voice will be heard, and the spirit of the MuleSoft won't disappear from these community events. And a little bit of Polish spicing I will add on top of it. Yeah, let's move next. So this is the big part. I will right now hand over to Marcin, who will be providing you from all those wonderful details, and I will be
in one sec. So there will be a dedicated slide for it. Perfect. So yeah, today we'll be exploring MuleSoft IDP. And yes, you don't have any déjà vu because we spoken about it, I don't know, 6-7 months ago, also on Warsaw MuleSoft meetup. But then at that time, the tool itself was, not mature enough. And since then, a lot of has changed. So together with Patrick, we decided to present you all the new features. And to make things even more interesting, we'll be combining all the IDP features with Salesforce features like AgentForce and topics there. But Patrick will be explaining the topic part shortly. So that's why this will be more like a IDP version 2.0, so something even more interesting. And before we start, there will be a very interactive part. I need 3 volunteers here, and Patrick will share the form with you. To have like a best experience, it's good to have at least someone who can write in Polish, someone who can write in English, and someone who can write in some other languages. Because you will be given a form. Please fill the form. Don't use your real name, real email, because we don't have any marketing consent with you. So just use fake data, but please fill the form. And there will be a section there for the free text area. Please put there at least 3-4 sentences in given language. So if you go for the Polish, please use Polish in this section. If you go for some other language, please use some other language, but please keep the whole form in the same language. There will be also a section with the image, and use all your best skills to draw something nice. Okay, and once you do it, please make a photo of the form and send the form to the provided email. So this mulesoft.meetup.warsaw@gmail.com. And that's all. And when making a photo, please make sure that the lighting there is good enough, because if something won't be lightened enough, there might be some challenges with it, but you will see. But that's like a warm-up section, so please do it now, as the process behind takes a few minutes to process everything, so we need to prepare a few things before. Yeah, so IDP quick recap. So as I said, we had the IDP session half a year ago, and let me quickly recap what IDP is. So probably I might assume that all of you know OCR or had any previous experience with OCR. I'm not saying that you need to have any development experience with OCR, but the OCR itself, it was more about optic character recognition. So you took a page with some text, you tried to retrieve the text from it. IDP is something more. So IDP is you take the first part. So basically, retrieving the text from the image, but it's just a text. So you don't have an understanding of the text behind. With IDP, which is the intelligent document processing, what you can do is basically have a conversation with your text, have a better understanding, of what the meaning behind the text. So you can easily, ask the question, what was the name of the person? What was the meaning of the document? Or maybe even what is the language of the document that was written by someone? IDP itself is still is part of the Anypoint platform as it was before, so no changes here. But as you and some of you already joined the previous session, and we knew that the LLM behind the IDP, so this large language model that was responsible for understanding the text, had its own limitations. But after that, and it was like only the beginning of the road for the IDP with MuleSoft or Salesforce. And after our last meeting, there were some few major releases. Quickly explain what we had there, because this basically is the reason why we are discussing the IDP, because now with all the changes that were made, it makes sense to start using IDP when comparing with some other IDP tools from other vendors. And the main difference, and it's like a game changer right now, is the connection between IDP and the Salesforce Einstein. So Salesforce Einstein is a product of Salesforce, which gives you access to like a best in the market LLMs. So we have access to OpenAI, ChatGPT, or Gemini from Google. So now we can process our documents via IDP using best LLMs. And now it's working. So as you will see, and hopefully everything will be working, you will see that we are able to have a very nice conversation with the documents that you are currently working on. And what else? Okay, so the access to the best LLMs is not everything. So Salesforce Einstein also provides you a framework for accessing LLMs. So you don't need to worry about issues with data retention. So everything is taken care by Salesforce itself. So you just need to do it. So that's like a positive side of it. And some of you might ask a question, okay, but does it mean that I need Salesforce Einstein to use IDP? Yes and no, it depends. If you don't have access to Salesforce and the Salesforce Einstein, you need to work with this internal LLM that we presented half a year ago with all its limitations. If you want to start using all the best features, yes, you need to have your Salesforce somewhere in your organization and have a connection between the Salesforce platform and the MuleSoft platform. And I will be showing it during the demo phase. But now, as we can use, like a real LLMs that can do almost everything, we can work with any document we want, because basically it's just a text. And with the proper prompts, we can ask about all the details from the document. And this will be on this custom user-defined schemas will be something we'll be using to provide a structure for our custom documents. And using also, this was a new feature from 2 or 3 months ago, also having a possibility for the image recognition. And this is the part we'll be testing. I did some tests, and I will share the results later on. Okay. What is AgentForce? I guess that's something for Patrick. So let's invite Patrick again on the stage.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Can you hear me? Perfect. So just a brief introduction. We know all about Agent. I think everyone heard AgentForce. This is a buzzword in the Salesforce-wide community. So basically, just AgentForce is an AI agent that can it's embedded into Salesforce platform, CRM platform, and it's used its wide capability, having all the data collected there, data from a variety of different data sources using the data cloud tool capability. And actually, it's enabled via MuleSoft to connect all other legacy systems or other APIs that are there. It's basically right now have all working with a variety of data sources and provide this AI agentic behavior, which we'll present on today's session. And I will move to the next part how does this actually relates to MuleSoft, what we are doing. Okay, so we are all very familiar with designing APIs, REST APIs, for example. And right now, we're thinking about those as an assets that can be exposed, consumed by some consumer using REST interface. And using MuleSoft Topic Center, right now, we are trying to change our APIs, evolve them into AI assets, basically, that can be consumed by agents. And one of those agents is AgentForce. With this MuleSoft Topic Center, you might ask the main question, basically, what this topic is. And this is basically description of what are capabilities of your APIs, what can be achieved using this one. And this topic, so this is like broad category, okay, we can, for example, do image processing for cases. And this contains multiple actions that are configured under the hood. And those actions are your endpoints. And all of this is basically descriptive work that we need to do. On the next slide, we'll see how we actually can enable our API to be an AI asset that can be consumed by AgentForce. So these are 3 steps, basically. We need to enable this API, then we need to discover this and connect to this. Then discovery and connectivity part is happening in the Salesforce end. This is something that will be Salesforce administrator doing, or will receive help from your guys how to do it. And lastly, it's consumed. So basically, we are enable AI agent is consuming this API. So how to enable this API? Enabling API is very simple. It's like I said, providing mainly descriptions. As you already did a bigger part, you defined your API, so you know it. It's there. So we are just providing the name, the classification. Classification is what I said. This is the topic description, what it is actually. Then we've got the description of scope. So what can we do basically? What actions can we have? And instructions. Instructions provides a little bit more details how to use it. You can say, for example, provides more details like about orchestration, something to do. You need to invoke the other MuleSoft exposed operation. So this you provide the instruction, and as this is instruction, AI agent can take it into consideration or not. We will see this during the demonstration. I tested it 2 hours ago, so it worked. I hope this we'll be able to repeat on our today's demonstration. And we provide information, what is the input and output for a given operations and actions, basically, that we've got. You do not need to provide extra schemas. Okay, you need. So we'll get back to this one. And one more thing before we move to the next part, where we are enabling this API, where this MuleSoft topics actually is located. It's extending your API specification. Basically, you are adding custom tags. Maybe not tags, but custom structure you are defining. And you would do it in the design center. I will provide this to showcase this to you today in Endpoint Code Builder that provides a little bit of UI there. Not fully fully supporting everything, but I would like to show it to you. And you need to write this in OAS specification. OAS 3, run? No, it won't work. So just remember this one, that needs it OAS enabled. And on the next part, oh yeah, OAS 3. Right now you can see, I will show you to you on the demonstration. This is basically, okay. You can use your imagination to provide a little bit more details there, but this is a screenshot from Endpoint Code Builder where you can see in the center part that we are defining our instructions, descriptions that makes our API actually agent enabled. We've got something that we will really be using on to make sure that our API is actually fully conformant. So you will be using the governance policy that's there. But about this, I will tell you more later on. The discovery part that's happening in API catalog. So the Salesforce got API catalog, and it's looking through your endpoint exchange. Once you are connected, of course, the Salesforce and endpoint platform needs to be connected. And once you've got this connectivity there, it's listening and checking your API on the endpoint exchange. And it has a couple of requirements about to those. And definitely first is that this must be OAS free specification. It needs to have 2 tags to this one attached, which is tags like SF API topic, SF API catalog. I don't remember them by heart, so I need to do just look at my cheat sheet. And you may be wondering why my API is not appearing in API catalog. So this is not instant process. Bear in mind, it's not just like that. You need to wait 5 minutes, 40 minutes. Maybe it will be improved later on. Right now, it's around 30 minutes. At least this is the experience I received. So patience, but it will appear. But one more thing to remember. As you made, if this does not appear, just double check these points that I highlighted here. Your API needs to have API, in API manager needs to have an instance. So it needs to have an API instance. It needs to be discoverable API, and it needs to run. If it's not running, even though you've got API stack already there, it won't be detected. So it's prerequisites, everything you need to know. And yeah, let's move to the next slide. Would you like to present more about our demo case?
Yeah. So now the fun part. So the demo case. Let me then describe what we'll be showing to you today. So we'll be starting with filling some forms. So this part I hope is already taken care of. So the form you created were sent via email to Salesforce using the email to case functionality. It's like a Salesforce standard functionality, so won't be discussing this too much, but in the end, we'll have case object created in Salesforce, and your form should be attached as an attachment in the Salesforce. This will give a possibility for the service agent in Salesforce, and the service agent is basically a person using AgentForce in Salesforce to do some conversation with AgentForce, and Patrick will be presenting this part. And one of the questions for the conversation will be some questions about the attachment that was part of the case, because we can think about the scenario where someone is writing down some complaint or some order using handwritten text, and it's hard for the service desk clerk to fully read the document. It will be in theory done automatically by him or her. What we'll be doing then next, so the AgentForce itself will have access to, and is kind of a wrapper around the standard IDP connector. Why we did it this way, as AgentForce has some expectations or some requirements mentioned already by Patrick, and the API or generated automatically by the IDP is slightly different. So in order to have like a better control between IDP generated connector and the actual exposing its capabilities to AgentForce, we need to do very minor transformations, and and it also gives us better flexibility here. That's why this extra wrapper as a MuleSoft API was also added to the big screen. And as will be shown during the demo, the API itself exposes 3 operations. The first operations gives you a possibility to provide, Patrick, help me, document, content, link, yes? Yeah. So this is like a standard object in Salesforce that contains basically information. I mean, it's like a ID of the attachment. I mean, it's like a little bit simplification here, but for the sake of this demo, let's think that content document link is the ID of the attachment in Salesforce. This was also done because in order to challenge one another, current limitations of AgentForce about processing like few megabytes of data, because so the attachments you send are probably 4 or 5 megabytes files, and it was too big for the context session in AgentForce. That's why this content document link is shared with the MuleSoft API. MuleSoft API behind the scene is retrieving the file from the Salesforce, converts it to base 64, and in this form, it is being sent to IDP for further processing. That's one operation. The other operations gives AgentForce possibility to check what is the current processing status, because the first operations returns the document ID, and this document ID gives you a possibility to later on check the status of the processing. And once the processing is finished, you will have a possibility to retrieve the results. So AgentForce will be dealing with 3 operations exposed by MuleSoft API. Any questions so far? No? So let's start now the demo part. Okay. So let me double check whether my session is still, it's still active. So before I will be showing IDP, let's first see the connection between Anypoint platform and the Salesforce itself. So basically this game changer for IDP, and also this connection not only helps with IDP, which is very nice, but it also will I will be showing it. Okay, so maybe it's better to yeah. So in the access management section of Anypoint platform, you have this new Salesforce area with this nice new button there. This gives you a possibility to connect your Anypoint platform with the Salesforce org you have access to. So we need Salesforce org with Salesforce Einstein enabled. So by now, if I'm not mistaken, all this, even the developer editions, have access to Salesforce Einstein. And this is like a crucial, because without it, we won't have all the capabilities around LLMs. And when creating this connection between the Salesforce platform and Anypoint platform, we can decide on the capabilities that can be enabled. For the IDP, the most important one is the possibility to use Einstein from this Salesforce org. This is crucial for the IDP, as will be shown in a sec, but also it is crucial for all the future Gen AI related capabilities around Anypoint platforms, like generating flows in Anypoint code builder using prompts. This is also behind the scene is using the Salesforce Einstein. But this is like a topic for a completely new separate MuleSoft meetup. And if anyone from you want to present it, feel free to do so. And also, as I'm showing it right now, Patrick, for his part, will be using this first capability or this first enablement part here, that to allow Salesforce to import APIs, because we'll have this connection is bidirectional. So not only MuleSoft platform is using capabilities from Salesforce, but Salesforce will be able to use some information from Anypoint platform. And as you can see, everything is here allowed. So we have this direct connection between both platforms. Now let's move on to the IDP part. So here we won't see any major changes since last release, but now whenever we are creating a new document action, so document action, you can think about the document action as a set of actions or set of operations that should be executed on given document. So whenever we are creating a new document action, we have our old invoice and purchase order. Before we had also this generic part, but now whenever using a generic part, we have this new shiny button here, customize schema. If it's enabled, we'll be able to use Salesforce Einstein and have a very sophisticated LLMs models behind the scene for the prompt execution. If it's unchecked, we are still stuck with the old model with all its limitations. Okay, now let me just show you the document I prepared, so it'll be easier to present. So the document itself basically consists with set of prompts. Each prompt is related in a field. So you can think about a field as a kind of storage for the end result of given prompt. So for the sake of this demonstration, I called the fields in the way I am expecting them to have like a final form. And this will be also the API names returned by the IDP API. So for example, and all the prompts that will be presented here are related to the form that was shared with you. So basically in the form itself, you will see form like email, name, free text area, and so on. So the prompts are related to this, names in the documents. Also, I did some tests without such a structured approach and gave like a very random text without any structure. And then the results were below expectations, let me put it this way. So that's why whenever you are processing any document, it's good to have this at least some form for this document. And let me just show you some sample prompts. I don't know if it's big enough for you to see. Yeah, okay. So for each field, you basically need to write a very short, it can be very sophisticated prompt as well, but short one is also good enough. It's if you are expecting just to retrieve a simple value. So basically you are providing a context, like you will be given, in this example, handwritten document, but as well, you can say you will be given Polish driver license, for example. So that's to embed the context, basically. And to what we are asking the prompt just, to look for the field called email and return it in a, specific JSON. And if it's not there, just return not found. This is like a very basic example, but also we can do something more, because what I did here is like a language field. There is no language field on the form you were given, but what we have behind is that we're creating a prompt that and telling the LLM that your goal is to identify the language. You can do the same with other use cases, like identify the document, for example, now I want to stay logged in. So just to identify the language based on the free text area. That's why I ask you to provide like a 3-4 sentences, as one sentence might not be enough. And also just to return the language as an ISO-free code. So there is no such field on the document, but with the prompt you are using, you can just use everything from the document as the input for your LLMs, for your prompts, and expect some processing on the LLM side. And also, where is the image part? Yeah, you can do also some fun. You use 5 to 10 words to describe. Oh, language. Sorry. There's a typo here. That's why probably it didn't work, but okay. But yeah, your goal is to identify and describe the image. So it should, I mean, so it should work. Okay, so that's like a IDP part. And whenever you are ready with your prompt, and also you can test it directly from this tool. So let me just, take some form prepared by me. So I don't have any, I mean, I'm not a graphic designer. That's why my cat is not a nice one. And you will see that even the LLM has some challenges with understanding what the author had in mind, basically. So usually it's, takes a minute, sometimes 2 minutes, I mean, depending on the workload. But what we can see here, and if I just, scroll down a bit, and let me just cancel everything, describe for my image. Sorry about it. So I'm not like a Picasso here. And so officially, IDP is not supporting, I mean, it's supporting like English, German, French, probably Spanish as well, but it's not supporting Polish. But the LLM behind the scene is supporting Polish. So I provided my text in Polish. So there are some challenges here. That's why if someone has a very bad style of writing, like me here on this image, there will be some typos. Yeah, but that's something to expect. So what you can do is like a set a higher threshold for the manual verification. For the sake of this demo, the thresholds are quite low, but still during the demo, we might expect some manual verification. So I will be able to show it to you. Okay, once we are happy with it, we are able to publish the document. And once the document is published, we'll be able to, where is the exchange here? So in the exchange itself, we'll see the connector for our document. A connector itself is exposing just 2 operations, one for creating new documents and one for getting like a current state and current results of the executions. But because it's not only, okay, not here, but let me put the post, but because it has not only expecting like a multi-part, which is not supported by the AgentForce itself, but also the response is not like a flat JSON, but a structured JSON. These are the challenges for the AgentForce to deal with. That's why we created a smaller wrapper. Let me quickly show you the wrapper itself. So the wrapper itself basically is transforming the IDP response to something nicer. And we have like, just, simple REST operation with simple body as an input. And this is like a starting point for the topic part. Okay. Come here, Patrick.
Sorry.
So once this once it's published the exchange, someone with AgentForce capabilities can do the rest. Okay, some typical technical challenges here. So let's be with us for a sec. One quite quick reconnection. Hopefully, after the reconnection, we'll have share button visible. Yeah, it's there. So we'll be able to continue.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Marcin. I think right now I can share the screen. So, wow, perfect. Let me do it. Let me collect my stuff on the screen. Is it shiny? Yeah, shiny. Share screen. Okay, let me share full Let me share one more. Mhm. Okay. Yeah, I see that you can see my screen. So this is the API. Perfect. Okay, so this is the API on Endpoint Exchange. And as Marcin mentioned, we'll be providing extra updates. And I must say that they released yesterday some updates on Endpoint Exchange. Right now, like generating API documentation. And I see, as I wanted to tell you, that you can see that you have your API enabled. And right now, what you can see on the screen, SFDC agent. So basically, it's right now providing information that your API is agent enabled. I will make it bigger. Everyone loves bigger images. Right now, you can see it. And I will move to the endpoint co-builder and try to show you how this looks from configuration perspective, what you can expect. And as well, I will try to make it bigger. I haven't tried this, so I don't know if it crashes. Right now, you can see endpoint co-builder. And I already opened my IDP API. I imported this one. And let's see how we can actually make it agent enabled. We need to provide some text description. Of course, you can try to do it on your own, but partially you can use the UI that's there. So if you click your YAML file, and remember, this is OAS 3 spec, you can click Open API Project Properties, and what it shows to you, it's providing you something fails, I don't care. Loading, we can see that my API enable this API for agent topics. So make sure that you click this checkbox. And actually, what it does, at least what I found, it only provides you possibility to view or see the UI in the endpoint co-builder. From the API specification, it does not matter. This does not change anything in API spec. I can disable, enable this. This is for UI only. So it's enabled. And if I close this and open the, oh, I think it's what's there. Yeah, it's loading. And right now, let me open the API. And you should see here. Okay. We can't. This is demo specific. I think we should be able to see right now here the UI part, but if it doesn't work, let's do not be worried. It should be one of the options here that we can see, but right now I can see it disappear. I don't know why, but everything you can still do using by writing on your own. So there is x-sfdc property that's actually everything is hidden behind this, and at least hopefully this provides you. Oh, sorry. This provides you context support. So if you hit Control Space, like I did, and if you are in the correct place, you can see it correctly, or yeah, you can see it well. Okay. No. What can I do? Make it white? Bigger. Let's make it bigger. Better? Okay. Just let me know if something's unclear so I can respond to you promptly. Okay, there is a context hub, so you can type control space and you will see the additional options. I already have this API enabled. I decided to show you actually the configuration part that's there. It's there, not to type on live, as it will make much longer term. So you can define this x-sfdc element, and under the hood there is agent and the topic, and then you configure this name, then classification description. Classification description is this topic. Oh, you can see this topic is designed for like managing the life cycle of document processing. The scope, what's the role of this topic? What can we achieve? It's the intelligent processing of case documents. Simple as that. You can upload documents. You can monitor them. And all this provides extra little bit context to the AI agent, AgentForce. Down below, we've got instructions. I've got instruction for each operation that provides a little bit more context, like when we are uploading and triggering basically the check of the document. I've got the information to upload the document, use the content link document object, and so on and so on. Of course, you can see typos there. That happens, but this actually does not impact much the LLM as it's actually can handle this stuff. But this part, it's not only this what you need to configure. This is basically the topic configuration that will be automatically applied in Salesforce. If you can decide which your operations will basically become the agent actions. To do it, we need to scroll down. We need to pick the operation that we are interested with. Like here, we've got the, no, I don't want this one. Let's move to this one, documents links. And as you can see, we provided summary, description. Of course, you need to provide all of this. Operation ID. Operation ID is just the identifier that will be used in the Salesforce to link this agent action. And we can imagine that I will just delete it. I will just remove it for now and show you one thing that was very helpful throughout defining this, enabling this API. But under the hood, you've got this again, X SFDC elements, and we are informing that this will be the agent action. Nothing more you need to specify. And all the context, this agent, all the context from your API specification. So if you write well, you provide the request model, the response model, some descriptions to those fields, it's awesome. It will be able to understand better what can be achieved, done with your API, through your API. And you can imagine I can just as well delete this one, but this is as simple as blah, blah, blah. Okay, it will update this provide this automatically published as agent action. As Marcin mentioned, you need to have flat structures. You can't have complex objects. That's why we've got this wrapper in front of the IDP API that was generated by MuleSoft. And what's more, your API needs to have a strict validation. What does it mean? You need to always make sure that their additional properties are not allowed. So you can imagine that someone can provide additional property. You would imagine in the standard case that's okay, let me ignore it. However, in this case, we can do it. It needs to be strictly validated. We need to as well provide, like specify what is the input and output for the given operation. I do not mean, of course, setting up the schema, but we need just to tell which part from this specification is treated as an input for this operation. So we've got here request body for my operation, and down below in the content, well, I've got the schema, I've got the definition of my properties. And the only bit I need to do is just to use the XSFDC agent action is user input set to true. Simple as that. We'll do same for output. And we also need to define, is the output truly needs to be visible in the output that AgentForce provides. It's one output is necessary, but you can definitely, if you got multiple properties, you can define which one is the one that you would like to display to the user of this of AgentForce in the chat. There is a lot of details. Basically, would you like to take from this simple view of this API that all the properties are defined or like enabling API to become AgentForce friendly, X-SFDC. That's only what you need to remember. And one more crucial part. you can make typos, mistakes, and your API won't appear in an API catalog in Salesforce. What to do this? This is very frustrating. I found it myself, but there is a wonderful stuff that will also come with this. It's the governance policy defined already, profile, Salesforce API topic and action enabled. This checks if actually our API can be correctly synchronized. And if I make it scroll this, actually checks if the user input are selected, response have a description. Descriptions need to be everywhere. Remember this one. No need to provide more details on this. No nested object response. You can dive deep into those parts. They will provide you more details. But as you can see, I removed one. Operation must have an operation ID. We can see somewhere here. Yeah, if I may expand this, we can see that I need to have operation ID. So let me just revert my change and I will bring back the operation ID. And right now, our again, oh, I did not save this. So when I again scan this, actually it checks, should provide that it's fully enabled. Okay, I will do it again. And I won't be publishing this one as we already published this. Just the reason behind this is that it would take a considerable amount of time to appear in API catalog, and we don't have this luxury of time. Okay, so we've got this here, but this top governance rule set, but I wanted as well just quickly glance it onto this on an endpoint platform. If you've got API governance and you go there, this policy is also enabled. So take a look here, SF API Topic Center. And you can see as well, check if your API is there. I think this tool as well will be fixing something or actually improving itself, as sometimes does. When you publish your API, it doesn't add these tags that I mentioned to you that they are must-have in endpoint exchange. So if you can see your API here, this is my tip, just check it, then make sure that you go to your API on endpoint exchange and then it's manually. If you add this manually, it does not matter, you can do it. So like I added it here. So this is our API and it's right now enabled. We can go to Salesforce, make it bigger, better. Okay, so I would like to show you how the API catalog works. I will focus only on the parts related to the MuleSoft. There is Heroku, Apex classes, but yeah, we are not interested in those. MuleSoft. So API. Okay, maybe I'm logged out. API catalog is right here. And let me show it to you, the MuleSoft tab. It's loading, but right now it can, this is something new. But you can see two APIs that are detected based on the scanning of endpoint exchange. And if I go to this most recent IDP system API, you will see how does it look, and I will briefly tell you how we can actually make the connection. So this is the view. Right now it's activated. It's version V1, so it's detected our most recent version, which is version V2. Did I say V2? V1, of course. And you can see how many invocable actions there are. Of course, I enabled all four of the end operations that are in our API. You can see here the API resource and the method, and you can see that I already enabled this one. I, again, already did this earlier just to make it more smooth. But if you would this be doing on your own, you first need to activate actions and create connection. Connection means like this under the hood, when you are establishing the connection, what does it do? So it's requesting access to your API. Your API might not have client credentials, or it might have. No other authentication schema is accepted. but this is how it works under the hood. So it fetches, and based on this, it knows the URI and client ID and client secret that might be optionally used. And by the way, the URI, you need to set up this in API Manager. Don't forget this, as this is one of the requirements also there. You can see if I view the details of my connectivity, that once it's loaded, you will see if they are client ID generated, the auto discovery ID. So you can see I've got my auto discovery ID. You can find this on API Manager. You can see what environment it's connected to and the target destination URL. Okay, so I've got my action, my connectivity. I've got my enabled actions. Right now, when you do it, when you hit click connect, generate actions, under the hood there's happening quite a lot of logic. It's create name credentials, external, okay, some Salesforce objects that will work under the hood that you do not need to worry about. Everything is created on your behalf. So once you've got it, you can go straight to AgentForce just to check out if this actually works. So if I go to my AgentForce agents, then if I scroll a little bit down, we can see I've got AgentForce, the default one that was created. And let me open this in the builder. Okay. You can see here intelligent document processing V1 topic. This is something that I did not create. It's automatically created on your behalf when I mentioned to you when the actions are actually parsed and injected into Salesforce. You can basically see this in the assets library. If you try to add some assets, if you scroll down, okay, you will see multiples. Okay, maybe oh yeah, you can see here like duplicate, as I was rehearsing before this demonstration, so you can see have a wonderful experience during this demonstration. This does not matter that these are duplicates. What is the most important that they are there. Everything is extracted from your API specification, all those descriptions that you put there. So I've got my IDP topic, and if I scroll down a little bit lower, we can see this classification scope. The name sounds familiar, isn't it? This is the stuff that we actually configured a moment ago in our API specification. We've got some instructions, and this is a trial and error. And so whenever you see that something does not work, as usual, we know how it works. Prompting, we are making our prompt more fine-tuned, providing a little bit more instructions. For example, I've got an issue that for some reason it was taking wrong attachment ID. It was making this up, so it requires extra instruction. This was not an error. It requires a little bit more clarification how to do it. So this is basically like adding instruction. And right now you can extend this topic, like it's not read-only. You configure this in API specification, fine, but here you can fine-tune it. So do not worry about it. And when you've got this configured here, in this part, this is especially important, as this AgentForce has a nice AI agentic behavior. It can orchestrate your calls. So this is something I saw on Dreamforce, I think on Dreamforce, and I was very surprised, pleasantly surprised, that it was able, based on the description, to decide which operations in which order should be taken. It's carefully crafted the input requests, took the response, and it was connecting those very neatly. And I would like to show it to you today that it will be able to combine multiple calls in some orchestration dance that will end up with the result that Marcin was describing, which is actually processed image. So before I will dive deep into this view, let's see if your cases are actually imported. It's not this view, it's Yeah, scrolling. It's not there. All was there all open? All cases. Okay, so I don't have apparently the view. Is it this one?
One of them?
Can we see the? Yeah, let's see. This is tricky. It should work. Oh, Marcin sent something. Marcin, can I show it or will we be ashamed? Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay. Oh, okay. You sent ultra high quality image. Perfect. I heard somewhere that we should not say hi, thank you to the chatbot, so I won't. I will be the first one to erase when they go crazy. Query cases that were created 40 minutes ago. Let's see if it will find ones. Some. Making progress. I hope good progress. Not cases. I love it. Generic case. Okay, let's slightly adjust. If not, I will be just using the specific IDs. This is live. So right now I'm asking for the details. Here are details. Provide me attachments related to this case. We'll see. Getting details. Okay. Oof. I will do same for your cases. Right now I've got some image 071. It's not 71. But right now, let me quickly check and analyze this case. So I right now would like to analyze the case attachment. I provide the attachment name, and I would like it to the agent provide me in the output the results of the processing. My image does not conform strictly to this form, so it might fail, but let's see how it works. Right now it's processing. It will take, I think, like 30 seconds, as I've got just 2 megabyte documents, and we'll see in the moment the reasoning flow behind the scene, and hopefully we'll see some results as it should actually pass. Here are some of the results. Okay, so it's actually processed my document, and it processed this. This is not my email. There is a typo. I terribly write K letter, and I really like MuleSoft flows. Yeah. So actually, it's found it's with some small typos, like I mentioned, but this does not matter. Let's see how it behaved. We can see that it selected correct topic based on this description and based on the instructions that are right there. And it knew that we need to upload this document, so it used upload link operation. And you can see here the requests that were sent. In the body, we sent this body. This is not the complex structure that I mentioned. This is the structure that Salesforce has, but the body that was actually sent, this is the one that I highlighted. So it sent document link. So this is the ID to the document, file name, and we can see here that it was accepted for processing. And the next step, it knew that it needs to fetch and check the status. Is it processing well? So it selected the get document status operation, as you can see, for this document ID. This ID was taken from the previous response that MuleSoft returned. So this is the ID from the IDP itself. And we can see that the status is acknowledged. Okay, some processing is happening, but this is not the final state. Yeah? So it's retried. Perfect. I did not need to tell it. Oh, actually, I said it. Loop it if it's not the correct state. So we tried again, and it's so in progress. Okay, it knows that something is happening. So let's do a third call in the row. And it's actually right now received the status succeed. Perfect success. So what's left? There was a third operation that Marcin prepared, which is get the results. So get document results. And bam, we're providing document ID. And in the response, we've got this nice flat structure with the fields that Marcin defined in API spec and this IDP itself, like last name, the language, the image that actually could not be translated. And after that, it just summarized this for me. I could do more with this kind of fine-tuning, like make it summarize like the case that was there that we can see a moment ago. So this is how it works. Right now you can see my screen, and let me quickly go to this topic, just this one quickly. Just lessons learned that I've got throughout this journey. One, prompts needs to be very crafted. Sometimes that does not work on the demo. Next, verify that your API is fully aligned with the expectation to work with API catalog and AgentForce. Do it using the governance policy. Check that tags are there. Make sure that you are using OAS free specification, and your API needs to be running and be registered in API Manager. I would like to thank to the online viewers. Thank you again for joining, and let me go and close the session. Thank you, guys.